Hello friends, welcome to this channel, Center of Excellence Pharma 4. This is 119th episode on this particular channel where I am discussing about digital sustainability, that is greening pharma supply chain with a data management. Before starting our thing, I just wanted to give you a brief about our organization, our focus, and what really we are planning to do. We have developed a concept Center of Excellence Pharma 4 with the objective that the many emerging technologies like cloud, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, IoT, blockchain, chatbot, these are coming up and all. And how these technologies can help pharma industry to face the challenges into digital supply chain management, emerging technologies, digital transformation, and achieving Pharma 4. Dr. Jain Joshi, that's myself, has initiated this concept, and we have developed a lot of knowledge management base at our website, respa.com. We have also designed a course on Udemy platform, that is smart manufacturing in pharma with about 20 modules. We have a YouTube channel. Today we have about 385 videos are there. Podcast channel which you are listening, there is an excellent response from globally. We have more than 45 countries. We have listeners for this particular channel. And we also have a book series, Center of Excellence Pharma 4. Today there are 10 books are there. These are available on Amazon in Kindle form as well as in the paperback. So let's start with the agenda. I'm going to have a brief introduction. Then the case of digital sustainability in pharma, how data-driven transformation will help in key pillars and initiatives, real-world impact and trends, metrics and performance and outlook, challenges and future trajectory, and finally the conclusion. In the introduction, I want to discuss about how the pharma industry is transforming it, from the old traditional systems with the analog-based system, silos-based data system. At the same time, how the new emerging technologies like cloud, IoT, blockchain are coming up, and how these are also going to have an impact onto environmental. This is going to be powered by the data analytics and digital transformation, how these technologies will also contribute. And what is the importance which is now coming up from the green supply chain? Now there is a environmental impact is to be considered and all this sort of thing. So we have to think about the climate and the regulatory imperatives actually. And this has to really work in conclusion with the operational excellence and competitive advantages. There are goals for the digital sustainability. It has to reduce the carbon emission. It must cut the wastages. It must enable the sustainability at all various manufacturing stages and the distribution stages. And it must underpin the robustness and the real-time data sharing into the systems. To give you an overview about the digital sustainability into the pharma, we have to really take these following factors into consideration. The transformation into pharma industry is mainly driven by the data, analytics, and digital technology. As we are moving from analogs to the digital technology, all this data is available. It is captured in a much better way. It is more accurate. This with the technology, it is easily possible to share with all the stakeholders do more analytics and all that sort of a thing. And this is going to be helpful in environmental impact also. So importance of green supply chain is now been understood by almost everybody, and it is not just a climate, but it is also essential for the regulatory imperatives actually. As you must be aware, at the production levels and all that, we want to maintain the conditions which are really taken into consideration about the temperature, humidity, and all those various other environmental parameters to get a good product, desired quantity and quality is more important. So there are goals for digital sustainability are been developed. This has to reduce the carbon emission, cut wastage, and should enable the sustainability at all stages of the operations and all. So the stages of sustainability are also identified. The role of data is also there and all. So now let us look at the emissions and the energy. Pharmaceutical sectors, there are emissions. The more emission intensive per revenue are than automotive actually. In automotive, you won't find this emission, but in pharma industry, it of course depends upon the products which you manage, monitor, manufactured, depends upon your API, like these active pharmaceutical ingredients also. So there are more emissions are also going to happen it and all. And this also has to account about maybe 25% or 95% of medicines life cycles. This varies from the products, the where you manufacture it and all that is to be taken into considerations and all. This is a transition to the renewables also. Now, as we are looking at it, companies are getting aware and then they want to also cut down the supply chain carbon footprints by about 40-45% and all that sort of thing. This targets depends upon the organization, the products, the distribution levels and all that sort of a thing. And localizing the production or manufacturing locations and all is working it out. Also, optimizing the transportation route plans and all is also adding the value to it. So this is now considering it, companies are trying to manage it maybe into emission reductions and all also. The resource efficiencies and wastage, these are also is going to have an impact. So as I was talking about the environmental impact onto the use of the materials and all, companies are now planning to use non-recyclable packaging, which can contribute it, which can be again taken back and reused it and all that sort of a thing. This is where there is a significant harm to the environmental. So that can be reduced it and all that sort of thing. Then inefficient water and energy usage and their reprocessing and all. These are also been thought about it and all. And this is where now the new technologies which are really going to get available, like digital tools for the process redesigning and all, are also considered it. And so smart sensors, as we discuss about the IoTs, in some of my other episodes where I discussed about IoTs, all this point is also discussed over here. So smart sensors are also available. They enable the better resource management and all that sort of a thing into the environment. Digital twins is also another virtual technology which also simulate the processes for better efficiencies and all. Closed loop systems promote the circularity and all. And this is where the benefits from the various digital tools are going to contribute it with a significant reduction into the wastage or the decrease of the chemical discharge and all this. This is more applicable to active pharmaceutical ingredients productions and all that sort of a thing, or biotechnology products and all. So sustainable sourcing is more important. You have to keep deep engagement with the supplier so that now you have a better relationship and you can see how their packaging and everything is environmental friendly, or you have a digital traceability is available for tracking of the origin of the products, which are materials which are going to come into thing as a raw material and its a journey and all. You can build up a more transparency and accountability. Biodiversity protections you can manage with natural habitats and ecosystems and all those things. So these are the various things which can be taken into consideration. Now I want to really discuss about how the data-driven transformation can really play an important role in building up of pillars and initiatives and all that sort of thing. So some of the sustainability domains which I want to discuss it out over here is about energy emission management, digital supply chain integration, and regulatory and compliance management. These are the three priority areas which I thought I should discuss it over here. So key initiatives from energy to emission is basically adoption of renewable energy, integrating into the manufacturing, and that can give you the impact onto the factory carbon emissions, which can be reduced by up to 40% and all. And that will give the benefit about the lower energy cost, and that will reduce the carbon tax exposures and all that sort of thing. Now, coming to the next factor is about the digital supply chain integration. Now, we are really looking for end-to-end tracking. Now, we want to have a tracking from the manufacturing stage to the warehouse, to the logistic, to the distribution, till it reaches to the customers and the patient. That is where. Now, here, if you have a real-time analytics, which is now possible in the digital transformation with a supply chain IoT, basically, it's more important into your cold chain management and all that sort of a thing. That will give you an impact on in mitigating the disruptions. It will cut the transport emissions and all that sort of a thing. And that will build improved agility and a risk management and all that stuff. The third factor which I want to discuss is about the regulatory and compliance management. See, earlier it was all manual documentations and there were probably the errors and all. Now we are looking at it for a more automated tracking about the environmental regulations into the quality management systems. And this really keeps up to date the sustainability compliance, from your company targets or something like that. And this will also avoid any penalties which are really going to come from the regulatory industries or something like that. And that improves the market access also. So this is the most important thing where data-driven transformation can really help in monitoring the environment and all this sort of thing. In the real world impacts and the trends, so digital visibility and risk management can play a role. This will help in by artificial intelligence driven analytics and supply chain bottlenecks with the big data. Because if there are the bottleneck, then it's hold on to the environment, and then there is a higher cost for manufacturing and all. So this will predict the shortages and optimizes the energy and transportation. So with a data-driven decision making, it gives a smooth flow of the product or the materials and all that sort of a thing, and that builds up a resilience and a better carbon footprint. Now, this is what is the advantage you can get it. The next one is the smart logistic and green cold chains actually. Now there are e-fleets are available, route optimizations you can take into consideration. This will definitely reduce the energy consumption and environment monitoring systems and all that thing. The solar and renewable energy powered transports are available. Even the storage at a warehouses are available, and this real-time thermal monitoring is available for the sustainability and all that sort of thing. You can have a better sustainability designs also can be developed. So environmental impact can be reduced and all that. Right? And it should be a circularity, it should be in a collaboration, it should work in a data sharing at all the sources, which is a big benefit into digital transformation systems and all this thing. So this digital visibility will reduce the risk mitigations and all this sort of thing. The big data which really now can be compiled with an IoTs and all this sort of thing. AI-driven analytics is also possible, which can reduce the supply chain bottlenecks. It can identify, it can predict the shortages, either into the logistic transport or maybe into manufacturing or maybe the packaging material availability or something. And this will optimize the energy and the transportations and all. This will have a impact onto the carbon footprint and its reductions and all this. So these are the advantages are going to be there. So we have to really do that integration of the digital technologies along with the our focus onto environments actually and the plan for the green supply chains and all that. Right. Smart logistic and green cold chains. Smart logistic can really be done by introduction of e-fleets for the transportation. You can plan for the route optimizations to reduce the travel time and the fuel consumption. Green cold chains can really use by solar powered transport systems. Renewable energies can be consumed over there. Real-time thermal monitoring during the transport about the temperature controls and all is really going to be helpful. And there can be a significant reductions into the carbon footprint, which should be our objective when we are talking about green supply chains and all that thing. Now, cycle thinking and circularity should be our objective. Now, we should really think, when we are talking about the digital tracking, which should enable the environmental impact and should track about the resources use, extraction about those resources, which can really get connected with to up to the patient use and the end of the life of the particular product and all that sort of thing. Second thing is that you have to think about the recycling or refurbishing about the packaging or anything which you can use it so that it will have some take back impact and all that sort of thing. So you don't invest more onto the new packaging, new environmental uh, conditions which are there. Now, collaborations and data sharing is more important. Now, this is another advantage from going into the digital transformation. Digital transformation can really help in a cross company, cross node, all those integrations will be available. And that can lead to a successful green transformations and all. You can also involve the blockchain and then secure the data hubs, maybe RFID or something like that. And that will also help you to reduce or monitor the energy consumption and energy wastage if you can reduce that and all this. This is what it will be agile systems digitally be developed and those will be more flexible into data sharing than all. Now, this you should also work on to the matrices and monitor the performances and its outlook also. It is estimated that the effective use of all these things can maybe reduce about 20% onto your energy consumption or environmental impacts or the adoptions of the green chemistry, green supply chains and all that sort of a thing. So leaders should be aware and they should also be uh, interested in focusing onto this and this adoption of green chemistry principles in increasing will help in minimizing the hazardous material, their handling, and possibilities of is creating any problems in manufacturing, in distribution, in logistics, and all that sort of thing. And then the transparency of all this data capture and sharing will help you to new EHE, that is environmental safety and governance framework, which is been thought about it into this particular episode. And this will give you a business value onto the operational cost and all that. Now, this is all looks very good, but then what are the challenges and what should be our future trajectory, which we should think about it? So challenges in digital sustainability is still we are having into the data silos, and a seamless data flow is still a challenge into many organizations. That is a must, that is the thing which we should really focus on to it. You have to also develop standards to create inconsistencies and all. A fragmented legacy system which were there were more complicated that needs to be integrated and all that sort of thing, which requires a high initial investment, and that is first priority over there as far as the challenges are concerned and all. Then you have to think about the strategy for the digital transformation. So your regulatory and then investor pressures are also there, which is required to drive this particular change. But you have to also keep it in mind about the measurable ROI from such sustainability investments which you are planning it out and all that thing. Then you can think about the future of the green pharma supply chain, and that will be increasing the use of blockchain transparencies and give you an integration with the AI-driven continuous improvements and all that sort of thing. That is where we can start looking at it. So there are challenges are also there into digital sustainability because we still are working with some data silos, and isolated these data storage systems will not really be helpful for taking up a necessary integrated outlook into various technologies and all various operations into supply chain management. So you have to also develop standards, and inconsistent protocols and practices are to be thought about it. Fragmented legacy systems are still there in operation. These are outdated. That's another challenge. And another thing is a high initial investment. So companies are very reluctant to have those investment, but which is really essential because on the long term, there will be much more benefits are over there. And the workforce upskilling is also required. Now, this trainings to the employees about these new technologies is must actually. So, what is the future about green pharma supply chain? Is a increased use of blockchain, which will enhance the transparency and traceability into supply chain. AI-driven continuous improvements can really help into the future of the thing. Ecosystem should be developed for collaboration and innovation. This is what is its most important thing. And more the data is available, you can do more analysis, and then that can lead to the more innovative thoughts and plans also. And finally, our goal should be there to protect the planet. Why we should really look out for the green pharma supply chain is from the saving of the planet and all. Regulatory and investor pressures are also there. They are also increasing their demands about the sustainable practices, compliance with the new regulation, and measurable ROI needs to be monitored because it should also show the financial benefits in a quantitative as well as the qualitative benefits also on a long-term basis also. So you have to plan it out, the digital transformation strategy to how to help in creating a green pharma supply chain. So coming to the conclusion, I tried to give you a brief idea about how digitization can play a role in sustainability, building up a greening supply chain and all, which is going to be a future for every company and every individual also. And that will help in enhancing and monitoring the decision making. So sustainable designs are to be developed, which we should be eco-friendly practices with the material, which will minimize carbon waste and risk factors also. So with that, actually, I'm coming to my conclusion of this particular episode. Hope I gave you a few important hints about requirement about sustainability, requirement about green pharma supply chain, and how those benefits will be there. Now, to achieve those benefits, what really we should plan it out, what should be our strategy, and what are the challenges and what are the benefits are there. So more details are also available onto our other episodes and other social media platforms also. Please do refer, share your thoughts, share your suggestion. Thank you. Bye.